Recreating some iconic images of royal visits past might be a perfect way to mark a tour which is celebrating the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So, at a passing out parade today in Kingston in his tropical uniform, Prince William joined Kate in the back of a Land Rover that his grandparents had used before. The Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh here did the same in 1994 and even used it in the 1960s. But given the debate about the monarchy's role in Jamaica, it has also served as a vivid reminder of Britain's colonial past. And it was to the darkest chapter of that past that William addressed in a speech here Britain's role in the trafficking of hundreds of thousands of slaves to these islands.
I strongly agree with my father, the Prince of Wales, who said in Barbados last year that the appalling atrocity of slavery forever stains our history. I want to express my profound sorrow. Slavery was abhorrent, and it should never have happened.
This has not been an easy visit. Protests about slavery, but also about becoming a republic and removing the Queen as head of state. Jamaica had the largest number of slaves in the whole of what was the British West Indies. Emancipation Park in Kingston is where they celebrate the moment of freedom. Visitors to the park this morning told us they want more than just a speech.
It's good to say it. It's good to come out and say it. But following up on, on the words, then you can start in small ways. Start with your circle. Start doing things to show that you don't really support that. It's a different time.
Slavery in the Caribbean was driven not through the Queen or the King of England, but through the House of Commons and the House of Lords.
But you do want to cut ties with the British royal family. It's time to cut a tie.
Yeah, man, because we have these wigs and we have to, we have the Westminster system down.
With the Jamaican leg now complete, this evening this tour has moved to a different realm, the Bahamas. Before they left Jamaica, some of those campaigning for reparations there told me they thought William and Kate's visit was tone deaf, but then they were never going to welcome members of the royal family. For some, tradition is to be celebrated. For others, it's a reminder they want to move on. Chris Ship, News at 10 in the Bahamas.
Shalom, Yashrala. Shalom. Kala Layam, Allah Hayanawa, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well and rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives throughout the four corners of the earth. To the Ak with listening, learning, Shalom. It's your brother Shimon from the Pillars of Benjamin camp. Here with another lesson. And we saw the video clip. And Job 20, verse 10. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods, his children. These ruling class elites, and this is upper tier elites right here, the royals, upper tier, upper crust elites, but there's still elites that are above them, but in his speech, he said he wants to express his profound sorrow, right? And they're expressing the grief and regret of what their forefathers did. Ultimately, they are their forefathers. We are our forefathers. Reincarnation is real. Job 20, verse 10. His children shall seek to please the poor, his children. These wicked elites. They're the children of their forefathers, right? Seeking to please the poor. Who's the poor? Israelites. Israel being a people before a place. So-called indigenous, so-called Latino, so-called Negro, right? In that article there, it said Jamaica had the highest amount of slaves of the British colonies in the West Indies, right? And his hand shall restore their goods, right? Ultimately in the kingdom. It's payback. right? It's recompense in the kingdom. Judith chapter 16, verse 17. Woe to the nations that rise up against my kindred, Yahawah's kindred, who are Israelites, right? Woe meaning destruction. Destruction to the nations that rise up against my kindred. The Lord Almighty will take vengeance of them in the day of judgment, right? The Most High Yahawashi is going to recompense, right? Bring vengeance, right? Will take vengeance of them in the day of judgment in putting fire and worms in their flesh, right? And ultimately, how's this fire going to be brought? ICBMs, the missiles, man. In their flesh, right? Beginning with these Edomites alongside these heathen nations, right? 2/3 of people in there, but we're talking about the Edomites here, right? And they shall feel them and weep forever. And they shall feel them and weep forever, right? These Edomites are going to feel this, right? Go into captivity, Revelation 13, verse 10. Serve hardcore slavery, recompense, and then Obadiah 18. Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus. Right, these Edomites, these ruling class elites got to pay, man. You know, the atrocities that took place. You know, and now it's we want to express our profound sorrow. Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 41, verse 7. The children will complain of an ungodly father, right? These descendants of their forefathers, these descendants of these elites, right, are complaining of an ungodly father, saying it was their forefathers, man. Our forefathers did this. It was horrible. It was terrible. We express our regret, right? That's them complaining of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake, right? And Isaiah 49 says, I've made Esau beer. Right? Shame is covering them. Right? The Lord's exposing them. Right? You know, they're doing their West Indian tour, and the natives of the island, you know, are not having it. Jeremiah 30, verse 16, and it reads, therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, right? All they that devour thee, beginning with Esau, Edom, alongside these heathen nations. They devoured Israel being a people before a place, right? How did they devour the Israelites? Hardcore slavery, smallpox, genocide, right? Prison industrial complex, poverty, barrios, ghettos, right? And all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, right? Hardcore slavery for you ruling class elites, beginning with you ruling class elites. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. They that spoil thee. Spoil means to take, rob, pillage, steal, right? Who did that? These ruling class elites. These banking families. Idumea, the so-called white man. And all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey, right? This is all recompense being laid out here in Jeremiah 30, chapter 30, verse 16. Right? And the elites, the ones behind the scenes, they know this. Isaiah 60, verse 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. Right? This in the kingdom. right? They're going to be in subjection and servitude, beginning with you Edomites. And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, right? All of them, beginning with Esau, Edom, along with these other heathen nations, man. These heathen nations have a great dislike for Jake. It's not just the Edomites, but Edomites is the number one chief enemy spoken about in Psalms chapter 83. And then it goes into the other enemies, these other nations. These other nations hate Jake, man. You can't go into Moab and court one of his daughters. You can't go into Ishmael and have one of his daughters. They'll honor kill the daughter and then try and lynch you. Right? And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee, right? Call Jake. This is when Israel is going to be in their glory, beginning with the elect under Yahawashi. And they shall call thee the city of Yahawah, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel, right? That's when Yahawashi will make up his jewels. Let's close out with that. It's in Micah, Malachi 3. Close out with that. Right. This is when Jake will be in the right mind, beginning with the elect, have those new bodies, right? Malachi 3 verse 17. And it reads, and they shall be mine, who? The elect. They shall be Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, saith Yahawah of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, the elect, and I will spare them, the elect, as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Right? So the elect are jewels of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Israel as a whole, but on this side, the elect. It's only the elect going to come out of this destruction, man. Right? We're the Most High's jewels. Lord willing, we're that number, the hopeful elect. And there's going to be a recompense. Right? It was the Lord's will. First and foremost, it was the Lord's will for Israel to be punished by the hand of the wicked. Right? The wicked is his sword. These Edomites are are Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's sword. Right? It was his will to punish the Israelites for their idol worship. Right? But the recompense is written. Stay prayed up, pray without ceasing. Kwame Asharala. Wa Abad Baba. Shalom.